Hello, I'm Dustin Walters, joined by my fellow health associates Ishan Seth and Iris Rafferty. And over the past few months, we've had the opportunity to work together with Babson Diagnostics and Dr. Malamad's lab. And we want to say we're incredibly grateful to our mentors, Dr. Lekha Gopalakrishnan and Stephanie Ibbotson, for their thoughtful guidance in strengthening our project's work, as well as the in-depth advice that they provided throughout the process. As health associates, we spent a lot of time on understanding capillary biomarkers and our innovation that our project was focused on. We supported our team through market research and strategic analysis, and we evaluated the competitive landscape, synthesized discussions between Dell, Babson, and our mentors, and asked targeted questions to clarify key decisions and refine the business strategy. Through this work, we've helped sharpen the project's focus and refine the strategy going forward. Now I'm excited to hand it over to Dr. McGuire to share more about the science and the vision behind the project.
Thank you, Dustin, for that lovely intro. So I'm going to start with kind of a scary thought. I want you to imagine yourself or your loved one with cognitive impairment. Now, for some of you, it might not be, hard to imagine having experience with that. However, what I want you to think of is there any length you wouldn't go to better understand the cause? Unfortunately, over 16 million Americans are diagnosed with cognitive impairments, leading to a total cost of over $264 billion. However, despite how common it is, we actually have a really tough time figuring out what the underlying cause is. And this is where this novel area of biomarkers, or small molecules in the blood that we measure, really help with diagnosis. Now, there's 3 biomarkers that are really hot right now, and that's going to be p-tau217, NFL, and IL-6. Now, all these biomarkers are typically measured with venous blood, which is your normal blood draw, which a lot of people don't like, but I'll tell you, cognitively impaired patients really don't like it. Additionally, this is actually kind of difficult in some areas because you need a trained phlebotomist, which means that in areas with less healthcare, you might not be able to access it. The alternative is a capillary blood draw, which is a blood draw from your fingertip. Now, this is much easier for patients, and it's much more accessible as you can deploy these in pharmacies. And so our goal is to take these biomarkers and move them to a capillary blood system. Now, to do this, we assembled a super team of experts, which is a collaboration between both DelMed as well as Babson Diagnostics, local here in Austin. From the DelMed side, we bring the neurological expertise, the access to the patient population, as well as experiences with these biomarkers. And from Babson, well, their bread and butter is moving assays to capillary blood. This is what they do. And additionally, they have experience taking it all the way to market. So our solution is to bring together 2 proven systems, one Babson's capillary blood collection system, as well as existing market assays for these 3 markers. Now, the benefits of this is Babson has already done this with over 65 lab tests showing equivalency with the venous blood, and they've proven scalability. For the existing market assays, well, they're already being reimbursed by insurances, and there's only vein of function on the market. There's no capillary competitor. Throughout Texas Health Catalyst, we've gotten a lot of amazing feedback, and in response, we've established more strategic partnerships, and we've reinforced our approach to IP. However, I will say IP is not necessarily our initial goal for this project. Really, we're thinking about taking the Texas Health Catalyst funding and growing it into larger grant opportunities. Here's a quick view of the timeline. In the first 6 months, we'll focus on participant recruitment, and in the last 6 months, we'll conduct the biomarker analysis as well as prepare publications, and ultimately thinking about growing this Texas Health Catalyst funding into larger funding opportunities. So to end, I want to take us back to our why. As a patient with cognitive impairment, would you rather have one check-in or multiple check-ins where you can better understand the trajectory of your cognitive impairment? Additionally, thinking forward, there's opportunity for risk-based stratification of patients, as many of these biomarkers have new evidence saying they're high years in advance of cognitive impairment, and they're actively being used in clinical trials as new endpoints, as they're more sensitive to clinical symptoms. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the judges? Okay, well, it seems like, go ahead. I was gonna say
So why hasn't this been done before? And if it has it failed? And why you? Because this seems something that
It seems so straightforward. You're like, why has no one done it? The simple answer is capillary blood draws are much trickier than you would think, and this is why we partnered with Babson, because they really are the experts of this. I actually have one right here. Because to do these blood draws, you really need the blood intact, right? Like the blood can disintegrate sometimes on draws, and if you do just a normal, basic capillary blood draw that's unrefined, that will frequently happen, and that messes with the assay, and so it messes with the readout. And so really a lot of other people have struggled because they just don't have the technology for the blood draw itself, which is where I think we are better positioned to tackle that issue.
How much volume are you actually taking of blood?
Really not that much. It's variable, obviously, on how much you can get, but you know, like 0.2 milliliters to 0.5 milliliters, like it's a very small
Okay.
vial.
And can you extrapolate that out to other, like, you know, actually, before I ask that, who has the UT as the IP, Babson as the IP? How does the agreement with Babson work?
Great question. Here we have some simple bullet points. We might have gotten told this is probably a question that's going to come up. Both parties will own their pre-existing IP. However, any new IP that is joint will be handled jointly. So we are, long story short, I'm not an IP expert. I'm a scientist. I try to evolve the IP office to coordinate this. It is in the works, and we have more fine-tune agreement. So hopefully that answers your
And then
question.
can you extrapolate it out to more air, like, do you have future sort of biomarkers in the pipeline?
We do. So we pitched 3 because we believe we can do 3 off the funding of Texas Health Catalyst, but the long-term goal is to do additional ones and really think about more signatures, et cetera. However, for reimbursement purposes, one of our mentors said you really should keep everything as single analytes because that's what insurance companies like, but we are thinking that direction long-term.
Thank you, Cole.